The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and dreamers take their business ideas and goals to the next level. This podcast features best-selling industry resources and the professional panel discussions by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions. Welcome to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. This is John Kovach Jr., your host, introducing our conversations today with Matt Fritzsche and Brian Hubbard.
Hey guys, how's it going? Super excited to be with you. I know Brian is as well, but maybe I can let Brian say that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you guys today. And you know what? Actually, what we're going to do right now is we're going to start off with a little fun fact. And I'm actually going to be going first today. And I know John actually is the host, but I'm just going to jump right into what is something, kind of random special about me so that you guys can get to know me a little bit better. A little fun fact is I, as a kid, and even a little bit still to this day, love Dragon Ball Z. I can almost name all the characters in that show. If you guys don't even know what it is, then you're not as nerdy as me, but I love it.
Very nice. Well, thanks, Brian. We appreciate it, and you're going to come to get to know us a lot better. You're also going to get to know a lot of the knowledge that we're gaining from the books that we're reading. In just 5-10 minutes, we're going to have a quick conversation. We're going to highlight some of the fun, some of the exciting, and some of the most important things that we learn. And today happens to come from the book Relentless from Tim S. Grover. Tim S. Grover happens to be, or used to be, the trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, some of the big names that you've heard of. He's an incredible guy. I would recommend going and checking out Relentless. But today, the topic that we're going to talk about is kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but at the same time, it's very serious. We all have a dark side. Harness your dark side. You have a dark side that refuses to be taught to be good. Let's talk about it. What does it mean, especially in, let's say, business? I mean, obviously, if you're listening, you're either an entrepreneur or you're an intrapreneur, someone who's working himself up within a business. What does it mean to have a dark side and to harness a dark side?
Jumping right in, I'd say that the dark side of everyone who thinks about business is to take over the world. We've talked about what people think about the term mastermind, and some think that a mastermind is essentially a person or group that is going to take over the world. And I think that's the dark side of all things, but I think it's as we dig a little bit deeper, we'll find more of the dark side of thoughts as we move into this discussion.
Yeah, and a little bit about that, and maybe just to kind of ask the question a little bit back to Matt, is I want to hear a little bit of what I know is in the book of what the dark side is what does the book think it is, and then I kind of want us to be able to talk about it and see what we think about it, just like John talked about.
Sure. And as you know, I mean, as at least as I said, the author, he was a trainer. He was a trainer for some of the top sports guys out there, right? As far as the dark side is concerned, it's individuals who are playing sports, right? Who get out there and they have this unstoppable force behind them to succeed, to win. And they will stop at nothing. They will be the person who single-handedly carries their team to victory, right? But it's harnessing that dark side. It's taking in, getting rid of all the outside, fans that are constantly yelling at you and whatever else, and using that as fuel to your fire to get out and to just crush it, make things happen, and refuse to settle, refuse to quit, and win. How's that? I don't know if that
I love that. No, and that was a great one.
I mean, that's definitely more of like an athlete's perspective, but Tim S. Grover in his book, he compares a lot of stuff to business, and I'm curious, just as a point of discussion, what does it mean to you? How can we apply that to our businesses?
I'll pipe right in and say that when somebody says that you can or cannot do something, there's that little dark side of you that says, well, I disagree. And especially when someone says, no, you can't do this, or this is impossible, or it's never been done, or that's not scalable, or that's not actually a business plan. When people say that to you, in the darkest part of me, I don't want to be rude or confront them in the wrong way, but I definitely want to say, no, you're wrong. And I definitely believe that I can do it. And I'm just going to prove you wrong without saying it to you.
I would agree. I feel like success, and we say this a lot, at least in our office, that success is a mindset. And I think that's what it is. It's taking some of the outside naysayers, so to speak, and even sometimes the own lack of confidence we have within us. Sometimes we have those days where we just wake up and go, I don't know if what I'm doing is the most beneficial. I don't know if what I'm doing is going to make me the most money. And I think it's turning all that into just a raw power, using that to fuel yourself, right? Whether it's comments from other people, use that as motivation to either prove them wrong or, dare I say, prove yourself right.
And actually, just that last sentence that you just said there is actually something that I was just thinking about while you were talking right now. Is one thing that Matt was just talking about, and actually one thing that he's talked to me a lot about is he loves proving people wrong, because he loves being able to show people that he can do something, that he's able to do it. And at the very end of that, what he was just saying is that some people, you want to be able to prove them right, or maybe you want to prove yourself right. That's one of the things that I love a lot, is to be able to prove yourself right. And that could be, let's call it, the dark side of you. If there's any Star Wars fans out there, obviously there's the dark side within that. But this is something that you can really harness yourself, and you can prove yourself right. You can take whatever it is that you think you might even be thinking that it takes you down, that it pulls you down, this dark side of you. You need to harness that and make it into power, make it into the Force. No pun intended there with the Star Wars, obviously, but take the things that you think that might even possibly be pulling you down. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you unique. And that's what makes you you. I mean, that's what makes me Brian, is I can harness whatever it is that I have within me and use that to my fullest potential and prove myself right. Or Matt can be proving people some people wrong, and we can all have the success that we want through this dark side.
I love that, and I love that you brought up, let's say, the Force and the Star Wars reference, because in the book he actually references Clark Kent. Clark Kent, his dark side, Superman, right? Bruce Wayne, his dark side, Batman. But those can be used for good, right? Your dark side isn't a bad thing. It's something that you can use to save the world, but it's something within you I feel like is pretty hardcore, for lack of better terms, right? It's pretty hardcore. It's something within you that you know that you have, and it's that inner drive, that inner passion that exists from within you that you need to pull out, especially in the time of need. I mean, right now, Grant Cardone, I love success is my duty, my responsibility, my obligation, right? I feel like that's the attitude we all must have, is that success is our duty, our responsibility, and our obligation. We have no other choice except to succeed in life, period. That should be our mentality. Now, we need to access that, okay? We need to find the one thing that we know we want most in this life and constantly refer back to that to get ourselves into the zone, to get ourselves focused so that we're always, let's say, harnessing that dark side.
So when it comes to business, I'd like to ask the question to all of us: what do you believe that your dark side is? What is that superpower that you're able to pull out of? Let's just give ourselves an example. You're facing a challenge at work, and that's making a product come to life, finding something that needs to be monetized, something that will bring your business some income. How do we solve that using the dark side? How do we hone in on that superpower that we can essentially use in order to make it happen?
I feel like there was a two-part question
Sure.
there. And if I may, I'll answer one of them. I feel like, how do I harness the dark side? It seemed like there was a part question on what is our dark side.
Exactly.
And then it was, how do we harness it?
Two separate questions, exactly.
Okay. I feel like my dark side is getting crap done. Like, I won't stop until something is done. I can laser focus. I can stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I know Brian can as well, because we've done it many times together, right? To just make sure something gets done. I feel like there's a raw part of me that likes to educate myself as well, and I will stop at nothing until I learn what I need to know and then just go get it done. But sometimes I believe it's just the start. That's the hardest part for any one of us, is the start. I say it often, the fastest way to clean a garage is by moving one box, right? So for me, I harness my dark side literally by picking up one single book and reading one single page. In fact, that's my goal every morning, is just to read one page. It's not to read a book, which I do. It's to read one single page, and I end up reading a book. That's how I harness it. And then it gets me motivated to go take some action.
I love that. I think that's a fantastic way. And I know Matt said that we've stayed up multiple times until 4 a.m. or into the middle of the night to be able to make things happen. And actually, that quote right there, make it happen, make things happen, however you want to say it, however you think about it in your own head. Make it happen is one of the things that, let's call it a mantra, that I live by. It's actually something that I have on the screen of my phone, and I put it there about a year and a half ago, and I told myself that I would put it there for 5 years. I would not change the background of my phone for 5 years, and by the end of that, I will have accomplished the goals that I've set out to do that might be a long-term goal that people would be setting out for 30 years. But I said, I will achieve this within 5 years. I will look at my phone every single day because I'm always on it, and I will harness this, let's call it this dark side of me, this dark power within me of making things happen. It's, for Matt, it's picking up a book. It's reading one page, getting a little thing done. And for me, it is simply, if I can just it's kind of very similar to Matt. If I can start one thing, it really does get the flow moving for everything else. But if I can help one person throughout the day and make them feel good, it's almost like ecstasy. It's without ever having done drugs, I would say it's kind of like ecstasy.
Well, it's euphoric.
There you go. Yeah. It's the fact that if I can see someone accomplish what they're wanting to do, make them feel good about it, even if it is the smallest thing ever, helping one person, with their groceries in their cart at whatever place that you go to be able to get your groceries, it gets me going for the entire day. And the way that I can do that and harness it every single day for me is I have a wife, and if I can help her out in the morning with something very small, I love the rest of my day because I know that I've already helped one individual out, and it gets me going. And that's how I personally harness my dark side.
So I just want to pipe in. I think overall, and where we would like to get to is, to challenge you guys, to challenge everyone out there who might be listening or who definitely is listening, to go out and to find that one thing that gets you going. Go find that one thing that motivates you to kick yourself into gear, right? For me, it's simply reading one page. For Brian, it's going out and doing one little act of service, and that gets him in the right mindset. Our challenge to you guys, to put simply, would be go find that one thing that motivates you, that you can access at any time when you know you need it. And I think that's how you're going to start to harness your dark side, is by finding that one thing that for sure guarantees that you start to motivate yourself.
The only thing I would add to that is in the book, Tim describes some interactions between Michael Jordan and his teammates. And you were telling me the story, you were reiterating the story to me the other day, that while everyone is pumping themselves up, getting really psyched and listening to loud music before the game, what was Michael Jordan doing?
He was sitting in the back, listening to some music, taking care of some simple stuff like cleaning his shoes. He wasn't in the crowd. He wasn't, getting fired up.
Right.
He was in the back, just being himself, doing him.
And what I love about that, and to continue the challenge, is dare to be different. Don't do what everyone else is doing, because obviously what everyone else is doing isn't working if they're not extraordinary. So if you're going to harness that potential, if you're going to harness the power within you of the dark side, you definitely need to have a little bit of something in you that's different than what everyone else is doing. So dare to be different. That's all I would say.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys. That. Brian, John, thanks for the conversation. Man. I looked at, you guys wouldn't hear, or you wouldn't see it, those of you who are listening, but I said Brian looking at John. I probably confused Brian when I looked at him and called him John. But guys, we appreciate it. There's going to be a lot more from us, so stay tuned to the next one.
Thanks for being a part of the Circle of Knowledge.